Good evening, everybody. This is Elvira, Mistress of the Dock, and I'm here to try to get Freddy to have me guest star in his show. He's gonna review Scream 5, and I'm hoping he would squeeze me in here, and I'd be part of his show, 'cause knowing I am the horror mistress myself. And oh my goodness, here comes that handsome nightmare of man of mine. What, Elvira? What the heck are you doing on the table? Shouldn't you be on my dresser or something? Oh yes, Freddy, I know, but I just want to be a part of your show for once. I have so admired your reviews of the Scream franchise that I just wanted to be in your show. I mean, after all, I really admired your work. And for once, can I just please be on your show? Please, with the bloody heart, for once. Oh, all right. I mean, sure. I'll figure out some ways to squeeze you in. I mean, since I did think of you as my first crush, and I truly admired you being the host of horror movies and stuff, and I really loved your movie, which I'll tell you what, I'll definitely review your movie and have you guest star in many of my horror movie reviews. How's that sound? Does that sound like a deal? Oh, Freddy, that is the most preciously gruesome thing you ever thought of. And I most certainly would appreciate that. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Monster Master Godzilla here, and I'm here with Elvira here for the first time on my show. And and now I'm here to continue my reviews of the Scream-A-Thon. We're now up to Scream 2022, also known as Scream 5, really. Now, here we go. What can I say about this movie? This one is phenomenal. This one feels like a passing the torch story, bringing new life into the Scream franchise, having a formula passing the torch to a new generation of characters, and my God, it brought back some of the legacy characters, even bringing a new generation of characters, including new actors that would become the new leading characters. So, although I will say this one, the beginning of the film, it just feels like how they keep calling back to the very first film. Although it takes place after the events of Scream 4, this one feels more like a direct sequel to the first one. Like it's tied to the first. I mean, and then this one is definitely very worth a watch. I would give you this one. It's definitely one that you would want to check out. So anyway, on with the review. The beginning, my goodness, it's pretty much like calling back to the very first Scream. It's, instead of using Drew Barrymore, who answers the phone, this time it's a new actress called Jenna Ortega, which I know a lot of you who knew her from stuff like X, as well as the Netflix series Wednesday. Now, she's definitely a big name right now. Jenna Ortega is really amazing actress in this one. She plays Tara, and then she answers the phone to the killer, which is Ghostface. And so they found out. So then when they found out so then after finding out and then they've made references to Stab, the movie within the movie, and of course they were using modern day phones, and unrealistically, they still answer their phones. Like I said at Scream 4, it's hard to make a new Scream in today's world because nobody has a house phone anymore, and nobody talks on the phone like they used to. Mostly text messages. I mean, me, personally, in my personal life, I don't answer to unfamiliar phone numbers. I let them leave a message to tell them who they are, or just text me first, and then I have a phone call. Sorry, folks, I'm just very tired, but it's really a lot to talk about. All right, so Jenna Ortega, she's like one of the new main characters, like one of the new Sidney Prescotts, the new Sidney Prescott of this story. I mean, Tara is the new generation of Sidney Prescott, to be exact, and she ends up living and then when she got attacked by the killer, being stabbed 9 times, ends up getting stabbed, and she ends up going to the hospital and survives in the wheelchair. And now her estranged sister, Sam, who is disowned by Tara's father, and we later found out that Sam was actually a half-sister to Tara. We found out because when turns out Sam's mother, Christine Carpenter, actually had an affair with. She read on one of her diaries at age 13 that she read up on one of her mother's old diaries and found out she had an affair with Billy Loomis, the original Ghostface killer. So we found out that Sam was actually the biological daughter of Billy Loomis. She just never knew that until she read the diary. So we found out so that's the biggest twist in the whole movie, is they found out Sam is the biological daughter of Billy Loomis. So then after that, the most unexpected thing is that Sam ends up seeing visions of her biological father. And it was still Skeet Ulrich, returning in his role of Billy Loomis. Gale Weathers is back, and so is Dewey Riley is back, along with Neve Campbell back in the role of Sidney Prescott. And now Sidney Prescott had moved out of Woodsboro. This time she has settled down with a family, with a husband and 2 kids. And now, sadly, Dewey, he is now living in a trailer, and he was now divorced, like it happened with David Arquette and Courtney Cox in real life. They were married in real life and later divorced in real life, which is basically what Dewey and Gale were like in the movies. So Dewey is now retired as a cop again, but this time Judy, which is his deputy, is now promoted sheriff. So, and then after learning about the killer's return, Dewey decided to stay out of it originally, because knowing he's been stabbed 9 times and now has permanent nerve damage. But he eventually came back, decided to snap out of it and decided to take on the killer. So, and after Sam and Tara try to escape from the killer, from Ghostface, They eventually find out. They eventually found out the killer. So then the killer ends up and then it turns out just because when Dewey got stabbed, oh my goodness, it became the most brutal one ever. This time, Dewey ends up getting killed for good. Yeah, they actually killed off Dewey. So, I mean, spoiler alert for those who have never seen this one. Sorry if it's spoilers. Dewey fucking dies. Yeah, they literally killed off Dewey in Scream-A-Thon, which I understand. This is a passing the torch story, and they wanted to move on from certain characters. They figured out. We ended up learning that with those new characters, we were able to live Scream franchise without Dewey, or Gale, or even Sidney. Yeah, we ended up learning to embrace the Scream franchise without those legacy characters. And it turns out, and then we end up meeting up with Randy Meeks' sister. Randy's sister is back. We found out, and they ended up having 2 kids, and they were twins. And they became like the new Randy. So they even referenced to, this Scream 5 is basically a requel, not a reboot, not a remake, but a sequel, but bringing back what's great about the classics, sort of like that. So that's why they made references to passing the torch stories, which they introduced new generation characters with legacy characters. And they explain that sometimes legacy characters don't always live on when they passing the torch, because a lot of times the original characters have smaller roles when they bring passing the torch stories. Sort of like what they did with Star Wars. Like in the sequel trilogy, they passed the new torch to a new generation of characters, and the classic characters have smaller roles than they did in the original trilogy. So that's how they bring a new life into the world of Scream. So that's how they got Jenna Ortega as one of the characters to become the new generation Sidney Prescott, even though Neve Campbell's there as Sidney Prescott. So the setting is once again on Woodsboro, which bringing back the classic once again, of course. And because Judy, who is now sheriff, you'd think she was going to be the new Dewey Riley after Dewey was killed, but nope, she ends up getting killed too. Which even her son gets killed too. And so later on, later in the film, they end up having a party at Stu Macher's house, which is reminiscent of Scream 1. And so they brought back the classic Scream, which ended up using the party at Stu Macher's house. And then after the whole party is gone, they later reveal who the killers are. One turned out to be Sam's boyfriend, which reminiscent of Billy Loomis and Sidney Campbell. And one killer turned out to be Tara's best friend. So then after they reveal the killers, they take on the killers, and at the very end, Billy ends up embracing the inner, and Sam ends up embracing her inner Billy Loomis, ends up killing her boyfriend. But she doesn't become a psycho killer like Billy. So thanks to the fact that she was raised by her stepfather and his biological mom, and Tara ends up killing the other killer, and then it turns out the day is finally saved, and Sam ends up thanking both Sidney and Gale for their help and stuff. And that's pretty much it for this one. Would I definitely recommend Scream 5? Yes, you should watch Scream 5. It's a really great watch. It's a really good movie to watch. And if you're like a casual moviegoer or horror fan who wanted to get into the horror genre, this is definitely one I wanted you to check out. It's a fun movie. It's a good passing the torch story. But if you want to get a good understanding of what Scream is, watch the classic original. I mean, that way you get an idea of what's going on. So, and that's all I have to say, folks. And stay tuned for my review of Scream 6, which I will do half spoiler and half spoiler free in this video. And stay tuned. And that's all I have to say, folks. And as always, stay awesome, my Monster Masters. And remember, stay tuned for my review of Scream 6 coming up this weekend. And I'll catch you later. Bye!